What's up, YouTube? I'm here today to bring you a basic tutorial for Lucky Chloe this time. This is definitely a unique character compared to everyone else. When she came out, she looked like she was a replacement for Eddie Gordo at first, had a little bit of Lily's kind of gymnastics flair. None of that is the same. There's the best way to describe her is her rhythm. This is a character that has a rhythm to the way she looks and acts, and it's up to you to feel and understand that rhythm and use it to your advantage. She's very unorthodox in the way that she uses her moves in order to set up other ones. It's not at all like Eddie or Lily, who have the ability to kind of go over or under, attacks by flipping around them. She doesn't work that way at all. She opens characters up or opens opponents up by being unpredictable and having that rhythm that they need to be able to offset. So I'm going to describe her the same way as always, as several different basic categories: punishing, poking, combos, etc. So I think with a basic understanding of how her normal moves work, you know how to put them together into the advanced kind of strategies that she relies on. So first off, let's go through her punishment game, which is not very good, to be honest. I don't know if she's that strong a character in general. If you know what you're doing, you'll be able to be successful like anyone else. But in terms of raw character fundamentals, she's not very good. And you'll just see her punishers and you'll understand that's where it all starts. There's a lot of weaknesses there. At 10 frames, she has a 1-2 jab. It has 3 different extensions, but none of them are natural, so it's not really useful as a punish. We'll get to more of that when she uses this stuff for poking. That's really the only worthwhile punishment she has, is to catch jabs. She has a generic down forward 1. It does 13 frames. I don't know why you'd ever want to use it to punish with. You don't get anything better than that. 2-2 is at 12 frames. That's a pretty decent chunk of damage. It's a natural combo. It just looks weird. It has that rhythm to it. You press 2-2 and it comes out in that sort of delayed rhythm. You can see how she kind of takes a little step in between. That's the first sign of her having a kind of rhythm to her movements that kind of keeps opponents off guard. But that string doesn't really rely on it. It is natural. It just kind of looks a little different. That's her 12 frame punish. This at 13 is kind of useless. And at 15, she has the variety of normal launchers. Down forward 2. Looks a little unusual, but does the job. Down forward 2. And then she has this hop kick up forward 3. That for some reason is minus 17 on block. No one knows why they would do such a full thing. It's kind of crushy, like Claudio's. It'll crush through some highs and go over lows well. But there's no reason for it to be minus 17 on block when Claudio's is even better and is only 13. I'm really not sure what the point of that was, giving her a move that's so negative on block, especially when she has up forward 4. This hop kick does the same thing. It's 15 frames and it's only minus 13 on block. I don't understand that. It accomplished exactly the same thing. I don't know why they both there. I haven't been able to figure out a real difference between the two. But for 15 frame punishing, I guess you could use that when you know you have it, but otherwise, this guy is a much better option. And that's really it. She has a basic array of launchers at 15. She has a good punisher at 12. That's pretty much it. While standing, her 4 is the typical 11 frames, just like everyone else's, nothing special. And she doesn't have anything else until 14 frames where she gets while standing 1-4, which is a launcher. So that's pretty good. Having a 2-hit natural launcher at 14 frames, not bad at all. But this on its own is minus 16 on block, so you have to be super careful about your punish there. If you got a little bit more time, at 16, her while standing 2, which is the same animation, same move, in fact, as her down forward 2, but is 1 frame slower, I guess, due to the necessity of standing up or whatever. So if you want to be a little bit safer and you know you have a launch, you could wait for 16 frames and get that. Or if you have a big, heavy, like staggered block, like a hell sweep or slippery kicks, she has full crouch, down forward 4, which is that. 17 frames. but is a pretty good damage launcher. And again, be careful because it is also minus 17 on block for some reason. You're really taking your life in your hands unless you're sure you have the punish there. So 14, really good launcher. 17, bigger damage launcher. And not really by that much, by 4 measly points. That's, again, something that you would think to yourself, why would I ever do that when, you know, I have a better option that's less risky? I don't know. But that's kind of the way Chloe was designed. It seems like some things just kind of don't fit the whole puzzle together well, but when you know that and you know to be careful with them, it'll be okay. It's not going to cost you anything. Just be aware of what you're doing and don't do something stupid. But that's true of Tekken in general. Chloe just has a much higher risk attached to a lot of these things. That's it for punishing. It's not good, but it works. You know, when you get anything basic, you got jabs, decent string in the middle, and you got a hop kick. That's all you really need to worry about. Being able to launch while standing at 14 is pretty nice. Other than that, average to below average, let's say. And you're going to see that a lot in a lot of the things that she does. But I'll have to say that she's not a character designed to just, you know, get your space and punish their mistakes. That's not how she's going to work. If you're just going to turtle and play defense and punish people, you're going to have a bad time, without a doubt. You need to be offensive. You need to be a little bit wild. You need to be, you know, kind of a party animal to be successful with this. So punish when you get the blocks, but don't use that as a mindset because she is not good at it. She has things that she is good at, and you really need to center your game around that. So punishing is there for every character that needs it, you know, but can't rely on it. Chloe's poking game isn't a whole lot better, but it has a singular purpose of setting up better offense. Some characters poke in order to just create space, to create better opportunities. Chloe's is there so she can activate her best offense, which comes out of her stances. She has 3 kind of pseudo stances that you can't generally get into on their own. You have to cancel out of a move in order to get into them, like Backturned. So that's really what she wants, is to be able to poke you, to keep you far enough away that she's allowed to go into a stance and then mix you up from there or keep you guessing from there. So that's the only thing her poking is good for, is just to get a little bit of a space, keep them on their toes, and let you transition into something better. So in that regard, her basic pokes are pretty straightforward. They're not bad. You know, there's not anything, you know, going to take a risk here. It's just that you need to work super hard in order to maximize these. Her 1-2 string that I mentioned earlier as a punisher has 3 extensions. The first one, 1-2-1, is that mid. Causes the knockdown, the wall splat, does a nice chunk of damage. You can see how it's kind of slow. She does a backspin there and then punches you. That's going to play into the whole rhythm thing. The opponent has to make a decision whether they want to try to jab you out of things or they want to wait for the punish or whatever it is. It's up to you to keep them from doing that. So using these delays, these rhythms, these weird animations is how you keep them from guessing right all the time. So 1-2-1 is kind of slow, has that knockdown, but it's minus 11 on block. If they're just going to stand there all day and block whatever you're doing, you're going to eat it at that. So you need to start changing things. You can do 1-2-2, which is mid and safe. Actually, see, it does the exact same damage as the one, but it doesn't cause the knockdown, but it's safe on block. So if they're just going to stand there, you can do this all day. It's minus 4, so I mean your offense is kind of over at that point, but that doesn't stop you from sidestepping after it. And then, you know, stopping their retaliation that way. This will floor break if you end a combo with it. I think the last hit on counter does that. Yeah. That's the same animation as another one we'll get to in a second. And that's another thing about Chloe. She does have a lot of combinations of strings in different orders. The way classic Tekken characters used to be built. Couple signature moves put together in a different order. So we'll come back to that in a second. Her third option out of the 1-2 string is 1-2, 1+2. Oops. Yeah, well, that was it. This one is much more damage. And then the end of it is homing, but it's the high. It's a -2 attack, but it's a high, so they can duck that if they think about it, but again, that's up to you to be able to counter their defensive strategy by mixing them up with the high, the safe high, and the unsafe mid, etc. So 3 different options right away out of her basic jab string to start messing with people's rhythm. That's a pretty nice tool to have. These 3 options can also be done straight out of the second hit. Her 1-2 jabs, you can see she does that little lunge forward with the punch. If you just do forward 2, you get the same punch by itself without having to open with a jab. And you notice it's mid. So you can just kind of keep your distance and throw this thing out at people and follow up with the same 3 options to keep messing with them. If they know you're just trying to poke with this and they want to counter poke you, boom, get them with that. And the same thing with 1+2, the homing ender is also an option there. And then the third variation, you can just do the homing ender by itself with 1+2. Boom, boom. So those are kind of the same attacks, just built into different options. 1-2 into the 3 options, forward 2 into the 3 options, and then the homing option by itself. And like most screw attacks in this game, when you catch it on a counter hit, you'll start the combo on its own, like so. And that would be true of the third hit as well. If you did, you know, the 1-2 and then caught the counter hit, you get the combo. So that's a pretty decent weapon. That's the very beginning of establishing a rhythm with Chloe and interrupting the opponent's rhythm, is this jab string and keeping them honest with it. 1+2 is one of her homing moves. It's not super fast and it is a high, so you wouldn't want to just use it in the neutral game for fear they just try to duck. It's not great for that, but it does exist if you're expecting a counter hit and blah, blah, blah. You know, typical Tekken neutral meta game. That's an option. Her other good homing move is back 3, which is mid. Also not super fast, but it's a decent enough move. It's -11 on block, but it's going to be hard for people to see it and punish and react to it. But here's the deal. This is one of her best options to get into her back turn stance. You just hold back while she does this move, and she remains back turned. In that state, she's only -9, so she's technically safe. And that leaves you the option to try to, you know, avoid what they're going to do and counter it. If they do that and they try to come after you anyway, you can do something like that that'll go under their jab follow-up or whatever it is. But getting into back turn is key for Chloe, and that's a pretty good way to do it. That back 3 and then hold back to get there. We'll go over the back turned and when we get to the stances, but keep that in mind. Is that homing move to keep people at bay? It's actually pretty decent range. She takes a nice little step forward. Because of that rhythm thing that she has, she always has to take a certain step to maintain, like, you know, her footwork. So you notice she actually puts her right foot forward first and then pivots on that in order to kick with her left. So that actually covers a pretty good bit of distance. That's a nice range, mid homing move that gets her into back turn. So keep that guy in mind. Down forward 3 looks like that. It's not a great kick by itself, and its 2 follow-up options are also not great, but it's something you have to work with that keeps them on their toes. Down forward 3-3 looks like that, and it also uses that goofy rhythm aspect that she has. She tucks that leg before she kicks with it again. So if you harass with a poke like this, they're going to start jabbing you after it, and then they're going to get hit by that. Which that's also a screw attack. It does not cause the counter hit when it hits by itself. But if you do, you know, get that mindset in them and you get the counter hit from them trying to poke you, down forward 3-2 does launch them. By itself, it just looks like that. And that is the same animation as a couple other pokes that I mentioned before that we'll still get to. That 2 on counter hit does cause the bounce and get you the combo. That's only -11 on block. I think it forces them to crouch, so they could get it while standing 4 at best. But again, your job is to mix it up a little bit, do the different things so they're not expecting counter poke or punish, and you catch them with that. So down forward 3-2, counter hit launch in the second hit. Down forward 3-3, it's the mix-up option. It's not great, but it's there just to keep them honest. This is -13 on block, but that's pretty far away to punish at that distance. It's up to you. So the other 2 pokes that I mentioned are back 2 and down 2. This is back 2, kind of slow, an overhead paw. Down 2, it's pretty much the same thing. That's that extension that you see off the down forward 3. It's an overhead paw, but it looks like it's much faster. And this one is also +2 on block. That's the only move really she has that, so you can't mess with that. That's a great move to have in the arsenal. Fairly fast mid-attack, +2 on block. So having said that, I don't know what back 2 is necessarily good for. it's not a good as version of down 2. They're practically the same thing, except one is way better. So down 2 is really the ones you want to go to. Both of them on counter hit. This is back 2. Gets that. Down 2 does the same thing. Back 1 is guaranteed. It doesn't say combo on the down 2, but they can't do anything about that. The only option they would have is tag crash, and those days are over. So that is guaranteed. If they catch that counter hit, they're going to eat one of those on the ground and wish they hadn't. So that's a pretty good tool to keep in mind. That down 2 plus on block, counter hit gets you a free damage follow-up. That's kind of the bulk of her basic poking. Oh, the generic down forward one. Her 13 frame down forward one. It's as average as they come. Nothing fancy about it. Nothing. There's no extensions after it. It doesn't do anything. It's just, it's there. This back 4 isn't much of a poke. This launches on counter hit as well. And I'd rather talk about it as a launcher because that's, I don't know, it's not much of a poke tool. It's such a crappy range. You're really only doing that when you're trying to fish for a counter hit, someone charging at you. So I wouldn't even call that much of a poke. Her jab strings and the follow-ups, the 2 homing moves, the down forward 3. Forward 3 by itself looks like that. That's a pretty nice hit advantage. You see they caused that move, but not a great range either. She takes that step. It's good enough. It's actually not that bad, really. That's fairly far away. About 2 back dashes, and that'll hit. Forward, that's just forward 3. Again, no options there. That's just a nice hit advantage. It's forward 3, down forward 3, some generic mid pokes. Low poke wise, down forward 4 does this. She jumps, kicks him in the ankle. It's catching people off guard right now just because they don't know about it. Eventually people are going to see that little hop and duck. The nice thing about it is it crushes lows. It's a low crushing low. Reminds me of King and Armor King doing that drop kick at your ankles. Jumps over your attack and then hits you low. So that's kind of cool, but I wouldn't rely on having that too much. It's not the best low there is. Her generic down 4 is okay. Nothing special to write home about. It's this basic down 4. Not one of the good ones. It's not one of the worst ones. It's whatever. Her down 3, pretty bad. The only thing that's redeeming about it is at low profiles. She's real close to the ground, so she is going to go under a lot of things. But this is also minus 17 on block. Why do they do so many things like that to this poor girl? I don't know. But minus 17 is really bad. Even on hit, I think it's like minus 2. So they recover way before you can even see it. You can see how much faster Kazuya resets than Chloe does here. He's ready to go and she's still on the ground. So that's kind of a terrible move, unless you really need to like low crush and hit him with something. I don't like it as a practical use in general. So that's down 4 and down 3. Down 3 plus 4 is that. Those 3 hits. And if you do it again, there's a timing to this. I'll show it to you the move list. So you can read what it says. Right there. If you do it again, it changes the follow-up extension in time with the rhythm. It's basically like during the 3rd hit. She just goes boom, boom, boom with the 3 hits. And right as that 3rd hit, if you press it again, you'll get the correct version of it. Just by itself, it looks like that. She hits them low again. You hear her say double, and then she does the same move again. So it's 3 low hits and then 2 low hits. They should be able to low parry block, do whatever, if that's what they're expecting. The twist here is doing the rhythm version of it, which changes that. When you do it just right, like I said, at the end of the 3rd hit, 1, 2, 3, then do it again, you see how it goes high, mid, low. She says lucky instead of double. I don't know if you can hear that and react quickly enough. I'm not completely sure. But that essentially goes low, or low, 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 high, mid, low. And I don't know if humans can block that correctly. If you're expecting low at all, you're probably going to be trapped. The first one is a high, so I guess there's a window in there. I'm not sure about the meta game around this move. What are opponents trying to do to deal with that? Because if you just do that and then nothing, you know, they can't do anything to you. I guess there's, if you just keep going, they're going to low parry that. If you get the timing right, I don't know. It's a cool thing. It's my understanding that that's pretty much going to hit him. Because this triple low is going to make them duck, and then they're going to get hit high, mid, low, just like that, and not know what to do about it. So mess around with that, see if people start guessing on to what you're doing. I didn't realize you could go back turned. Huh. Is that his natural recovery? It is. That's interesting. It's pretty far away and leaves back turn, gives you room for your California roll shenanigans. That's kind of cool. It's a nice little bonus. So yeah, that's down 3 plus 4, and then rhythm down 3 plus 4 gets the weird thing they can't block and leaves her back turned. So that's interesting as a low poke. But that's, again, a good example of what Chloe does. Takes a low poke and use it to set up an instance of the guessing game, you know? Am I going to keep going? Am I going to do this? Do you have the anticipation to stop me? That sort of, you know, momentum, rhythm kind of thing. This uses that as well. Her other good lows are down back 3 and down back 4. Both of these lead into the other two pseudo stances, and we'll get to more of them later. But on its own, down back 3 is this. She kicks you low, and then she does twist left. You know, she does that little 2-step where she crosses one foot over her left one. That in itself is a stance with a couple of different options that we'll get to in a second one. Down back 4 looks like this. A nice little low sweep where she goes under all kind of things. Down back 4-4 is that. This move is called Coffee Grinder. I'll call it that in the future because it shows up in a couple other things. This is Coffee Grinder, but technically that second hit is called Scoot, and that's the name of the stance. When she does that the mid kick, there's 2 or 3 options after that she can follow up with. So that kind of works as a stance too. When she recovers from that spinning mid kick, works like a stance and she can do things. So we'll cover that as the other stance. But for now, just down back 3 is a low poke into twist left. Down back 4 is a low mid into scoot. That's most of her low pokes that you really need to be concerned with. She has a couple other things like 2-3, which is a jab low into twist left. Oops, I pressed it twice. Just like that, I got a mix up and didn't realize I was doing it. 2-3. Jab low to twist. It's there, but I don't know. People might see a jab and then immediately start to duck. I don't know. You can do what you want with it. But that's it. That's pretty much the best low weapons she has. 2 of them go into her stances to keep going with it. The weird high, mid, low thingy, and then a couple generic pokes. The only other good low she has is from full crouch, down forward 1. Looks a lot like June and Asuka doing that ankle grab. That gets them that little follow-up on counter hit. Chloe's on counter hit, does also launch. You do forward 3, I think. And combo like that. That forward 3 with that weird-ass animation, pretty good for picking up low, stumble, stuff like that. So from a full crouch, that 14 frame low, I think it is. Maybe slower than that, I forget. I know it's minus 14 if they block it, so that's not great, but that's slower than 14 frames. But on counter hit, she gets the combo off of that, so that's kind of cool. So to mix that up from full crouch, down forward 2 is that mid, which is perfectly safe. That's a pretty good mid to have. Advances very far forward, spins them around, that would wall splat, and is safe on block. So you can't argue with that if you're going to stay in a full crouch from a move like that, and then hit a mid. And that mid mix-up gets you a counter hit launcher from a low. And as I mentioned in Punishers, full crouch down forward 4 is that, to straight up launch them, but really only good for punishing a staggered block. You don't want to just throw that out as part of your mix-up and get launched for it. So 2 full crouch options as well to hit them low. So that all in all is a fairly decent set of poking. It's just they're not great, but you don't need them to be great. You're not going to get your damage that way. You need these pokes in order to set up your better offense, to keep them guessing and to transition into your stances where you do the best work from. A couple other things she has to use on their own. Forward 3, a nice rangy kick with a knockdown. Pretty nice little tool. Safe. Nothing fantastic, but super good range. If you find yourself really far away, and they're going, you can keep them out that way if that's what you want to. She has a shoulder, like a backswing shoulder with forward 1+2. It'll evade some jabs and stuff like that and get you that hard knockdown right there. So that's not a terrible move. It's just not one of the best either. Oh yeah, I forgot about the power crush. This is back 1+2. Looks a lot like her normal 1+2, but this is a power crush version of it. Pretty decent damage, but they're all highs. So out in the neutral game, you don't want to just throw out highs at a mid distance, you know? That could be a little bit risky. So back 1+2, power crush. Neutral 1+2, homing. Forward 1+2, shoulder. Forward 3+4 is that little cartwheel kick. And if you do nothing, that low is the automatic follow-up. She does that all on her own. If you press 3, she does the mid version. Damn it. 3 does a second mid backflip kick. I don't think that launches. Maybe it does. It's hard. I can't get out of the range. You saw how far that went. No, that doesn't do anything. Other than just be a mix-up. If they recognize that kick and then block it low, sure. But that's why you have that mix-up to follow with. The thing about Chloe is all that shit looks exactly the same. All of these forward cartwheel things, they all just look the same when she does it. It's really hard for you to distinguish which one it is she's doing and then calculate which options she has from there. So forward 3+4 by itself is a pretty good move. She's going to jump over lows and all of that, and has that boop follow up at the end. And you can go mid if they're going to anticipate your block, etc. Up forward 3-4, she does a double foot kick that jumps way up in the air and hits mid. She has two options here. She can just press 3 and do that low kick into twist, which I feel like that's going to be the one that people are scared of the most. Because that's like a, you know, the obvious thing is to go low, right? So people get used to watching for the low options for stuff. So up forward 3+4, and then 3 is a low into twist. Or she can do what is just called backflip combo. That's just what it's called in the move list. But it looks like everything she does is a backflip combo. But this is the one that's actually called that. And so that extension is 3+4 and 4 out of this. So it's up 3+4, then 3+4 and 4. So that second hit and then the big smack at the end of it. That's called backflip combo. So remember that. It's going to show up in a couple of other places as one of her options. So that's a pretty good move in itself. It's slow and everything. You want to kind of be a little farther away, like an orbital heel distance. You can see that hits pretty well. That's about 2 to 3 back dashes. That'll hit. And it has a low into stance or a mid into damage. And the other neutral move that's kind of like that is forward 4-4. She can do that twice. That one, look, I think is completely airborne. She's not planting a hand on the ground when she does that. So she's going to completely annihilate lows. That seems like it's much faster. And the fact that you can do it twice, it looks exactly the same. She even says double. Gives her a really powerful option there. Because after both of those hits, you can hold back to go into back turn. So just a single forward one, there's your back turn, and you duck under something like that. If you do it twice, the second one is a launcher. If they decided to do anything, doesn't even have to press a button if they ducked. That second one is a natural launcher. You can combo off of that. And you can also hold back from that as well. And use, you know, say the California roll combo. Like that. So that is a pretty good move overall. That second hit is -13 on block, but if you go back turned, you're only -9. So you're technically safe. Even if they try to come after you with something, you can go under it like that, or, you know, do the California roll to avoid it. Anything you want to do. Just keep in mind you are -9, so if they do like a down forward 2, a mid with good range, it's going to catch you. Just be aware that your offense doesn't have to be over, but they're at an advantage at that moment because they blocked your string. You're only going into back turn to stay safe, so you might even want to just kind of go right into a crouch from there. Cover that distance, get out of their way, see what they're going to do. And then be prepared to go right back on them, you know, start fishing for that thing afterward, for example. You know, go back turn, crouch, counter hit, whatever it might be. So forward 4-4 could also leave you back turned out of both of those 2 hits. Those are the less poke-oriented normals she has from neutral. Couple of double flip kicks, couple of shoulder attacks, a little bit of variety. The cool thing about it is you start to see is how similar they all look. Forward 3+4 and forward 4, that, you know, that looks the same. You know, she's flipping and spinning and feet are going everywhere. So that's to your advantage, that they're going to have a hard time seeing and then understanding which one of those it is that you did and how to react to it. So that's a weapon in your advantage. Your mental rhythm is going to stop them from developing their own. So that's most of her neutral game, her poking ability, and the idea of getting into and using your stances from those. So let's go over what the stances do one by one, basically. I'll treat them as a stance and kind of go over how to use it and then what they all do, each one separately. So the first of these stances is just her back turned. And the thing that really sucks the most about it is there's no way to just do it on its own. You can't just go into back turn like most characters can. You have to cancel out of some other attack in order to be able to do it. The one I didn't realize until just now is that the triple hit low thing, when you do the good version of that, all that spinning leaves her back turn. So that's an option too, but I don't think you can control that one. I think she just recovers back turned off of that hit no matter what. So be prepared for that. The other ways to get back turned are the homing move that we mentioned before, back 3, and then you hold back. She gets in that way. Forward 4, both hits of it. Forward 4 and forward 4-4. Both hits you hold back and she'll cancel into back turned. Sidestep 4 leaves her back turned no matter what. You can't control that one either. That one also launches on counter hit, and we'll get to that too. That's kind of a cool move to have. Low counter hit launcher, back turned. Good stuff there. And the only other way to do it is to get into twist stance, say down back 3, and then just hold back there. That one takes a second because of her rhythm. She has to complete her footwork. You know, she can't just, you know, take a step that's offbeat. So she has to complete the crossover step and then she stays back turned rather than stepping back. So technically this is faster than returning to neutral because she doesn't do the, you know, bring her right foot back into position. But out of twist, you have all these other options they need to be aware of too, but keep in mind that's just another way to get back turned. If you want to, you know, mix them up with options every time they see this and you're harassing them low, you can just do that and then use that mix up too. Open up a whole new world of mix ups out of a pre-existing mix up. And that's what she does the best, is not fall into any kind of pattern or flow chart and not being able to do the same thing twice. That works best to Chloe's advantage. So the things she does out of back turn, they're almost all flip kick, pirouette, cartwheel type of stuff. She does almost nothing with punches. I'll use forward 4 as the quickest way to get there because it leaves me close. Like her punches are pretty much just generic back turn punches. I don't think she has a 1+2. Just turn around punch, nothing to write home about. It's all based on the kicks. So her back turn 4 is that, which again starts right away. Flip over in the air, turn around, cartwheel kick type of thing from just 4. Mid, knocks him on the ground. 3 is the opposite. She kind of does that flip kick from the ground upward. Not a real fundamental difference there, other than 3 has its own extension. You can do 3+4 to flip up and then back down. Actually, I don't know how bad that is on block. I don't think it's good. But it's an option if you're going to confuse the opponent with all of these kicks and flips and things. If they do recognize that one is having an extension and they're ready for it, you know, you can just not do the extension. So the fact that she has a second one out of there is the weapon in and of itself. And that causes a nice knockdown. If they don't get up correctly, they just kind of lay there, you can pop them with another back one for free. So that's back turn 4 and back turn 3. 3+4, 4 is the backflip combo we mentioned earlier. 3+4, 4. That little number. Of all of these things that are just backflip kicks, the one that's called backflip combo. She can do that straight out of back turned, same way she did it out of the jumping kick. 3+4, 4 to get that last hit. That's pretty good damage off of just a one little kick like that. She can also do forward 3+4 to do the California roll that Ling has. This is her most dangerous weapon for sure. Damn it, stay back turned. Is doing that roll, forward 3+4. Because out of it has the follow-up, the hit that you want, the combo starter, and everything. So a single forward 3+4 does the roll. Press 3+4 again to do that hit that pops him in the air, and then press 3+4 a third time to do like the spear kick that lets you combo off of it. So it looks like this. Doesn't look anything like that. Damn it. Back turned. There. She kind of connects her feet together with the hit, and you do the third kick, and she lunges for them, and at that point you can do the screw attack. Do the whole thing, looks like. Just like that, 83 damage without even finishing the combo, just a screw attack. That's a silly amount of damage. You can do 95, no questions asked, and like 110 something if you get the wall. That's a crazy amount of damage from such a simple launcher that's got such a cool property in the fact that it rolls under everything. That roll starts the launcher. It just kills people. Tons of damage. Tons of damage. This is far and away her best weapon. This is what you want. You craft your whole game plan into creating situations where you hit him with that. That's really what it's about. That's your number one goal, is to do as much damage as possible, and that is it. That's a really good start up to that. I mean, Ling Xiaoyu gets a combo off of hers, but it doesn't do anywhere near this level of damage. Not even close to it. So everything you do when you get back turned is you want to hit him with that, but you can't just hit him with that every time. You have to keep them honest with everything else. The mids, the lows, the rhythm, whatever it might be. You don't have to do the third hit there. She'll stop and lead and stay in the handstand. Like that. So if they're going to sidewalk the third hit, which they can on block, you can just stay there and confirm it, etc. But a little bit of practice and you'll be able to confirm whether or not that hit them and whether or not to do the third hit. So that is... Okay, let's just reset then. That is back turned forward 3+4. Remember, neutral 3+4 was the basic backflip combo. Forward 3+4 is the California roll. And down 3+4 is that little number that I showed you to avoid offense. When you transition into back turn and you're still negative and you think they're going to come after you, you can do that down 3+4 to avoid almost anything they're going to do. That's got really low to the ground property right there. Counter hit, it'll also launch. Oops. Something like that. So if you do interrupt their offense, you get a combo for doing it. So that's a pretty nice move to have. I actually don't know specifically, but I have to assume that is super launch punishable on block. Why wouldn't it be? But you can't worry about that as Chloe. You really can't hold back because this move is -12 or I might get launched for that. You have to take that risk. You have to execute your plan, do your wild and crazy moves. Otherwise, they have the advantage. If they know you're going to be scared to do anything, they're just going to rush you down and you have nothing to do about it. You have to be in control. You have to dictate the rhythm. So don't let the fear of punishment keep you from doing a move that could turn the tides. I mean, don't do things that are dumb. Don't just, throw out that hop kick in the middle of nowhere. But you can't be scared of a low getting blocked and punished. You have to do those lows to keep them honest, to escalate her offense. I think that's a good way to describe it. You do certain moves in order to set up a situation for better moves, and those better moves keep them afraid of what you might do next and let you do California roll. So it's just kind of like a never-ending sequence of more and more dangerous stuff until you shut her down. And that's how she has to be. She has to keep rolling and flipping and dancing in order to stay dangerous. Because if she stops for a second, the opponent immediately regains that advantage. So that's pretty much everything she does out of back turned. Most of it is 3+4 handspring flip kick kind of stuff. A normal mid, the backflip combo, the California roll, which is super important, and a low sweep that launches on counter hit. The other thing that she can do is the coffee grinder. Instead of doing down back 4-4, which is this out in the open, when she's in back turn, she just does down 4-4 to do the exact same thing. The coffee grinder, which leaves her in scoot. So that's the other option. Another low, just by itself. Down turn, or back turn, down 4. You can just throw that out. That's a great attack, really fast. they'll recognize that as the first hit of the coffee grinder that people are just going to annoy you online with all the day. They can just do this. They can just mash out that, hold down back and just mash out 4-4 and keep doing that. So people are going to recognize that attack and be, okay, here comes the mid kick. So that's a nice arsenal to have too from Backturned, is just a quick little boop into that to keep them working with. And if you do the second one, which is mid, then you have the scoot mix-up built in after it. So that's a Backturned. Good mid flip kicks, low counter hit, and then a low into her next stance, which is called scoot. The name comes from this move by itself, forward, forward, 4. That move is called scoot in the command list. So they just kind of refer to its resulting state as the scoot. You can see how she turns around. She hasn't regained her dance step yet. She kind of spins around there. That little delay is when she does her options. So it's not a stance that you can just enter into like twist or Backturned. It's the aftermath of this move has options out of it. So it kind of works like a stance. So forward, forward, 4 is how you do that by itself. This is the scoot kick. The coffee grinder is the other one. Notice that's the same animation. Down, back, 4-4. And she can also do the coffee grinder out of twist left. Down, back, 4-4 right there to do the same thing. So coffee grinder goes into scoot. Forward, forward, 4 goes into scoot. That's pretty much it. It's a very minimal stance, but it's worth talking about because it gives her another layer of offense and mix-up. The only things she can do out of scoot are nothing, which is a legitimate thing for her. You know, they're going to hesitate for a second because they're ready to guess that mix-up, so you do nothing, and you kind of just, like, reset the situation, go back to that, kick him in the feet, and annoy them again. So nothing is a valid option. She can also do the backflip combo, which is 3 + 4, 4. That 35 damage is a decent enough to add on, but if this is a counter hit, all of that gets guaranteed. See if it shows it that way. There, 60 damage off of that. That's respectable as hell. From that move, if they get counter hit by it, the whole thing connects. 60 damage is pretty nice. The other option is 4-4, which is that flip over kick and another one. You can see the one by itself combos. She can juggle that state. I'm pretty sure the opponent can jab you out of the air if they're crafty enough right there. They can definitely jab you out of the air of the second one if you do it like that. If the first one connects and you did the second one, you lose your combo. So be aware of that. Don't just mash it out and see what you get. Keep in mind the mix-up you're doing. I want to go for the 4 because I think they're going to blah, blah, blah. So don't just mash it out or don't try to just guess. Stay in control. Whoops, I didn't want to counter hit. I want to hit with a third one by itself, not the second one. That does too. Okay, I kind of thought so. So both of those will combo. I'm not sure if you can read that, but they block that one and you do it again. Maybe you can, you'd have to practice it out. As soon as they block that one, do the third one and try to catch them that way. I'm not completely sure, but both of those hits will combo when they connect. So that's a pretty dangerous tool to have. Just be warned that if they're savvy, they're going to jab you out of the air. So every other time, you know, you can't just do that every single time you scoot. They're going to get wise to it. You do the backflip combo, which will hit them. If they try to do, like, you know, a hop kicker or whatever, that'll hit them out of it. So that's pretty much it. Nothing, the long tumbling launcher, and the backflip combo. There's no low in there, so they're never going to duck you, but they're going to have to make that constant decision. Do I jab her out? Do I wait and punish? Blah, blah, blah. And you keep them guessing. So as far as a mini stance goes, there's a lot of really good rewards out of the twist, or out of the scoot, I mean. Especially the fact that you can just keep doing this. When you go into scoot, you can just do the coffee grinder again. You can do another down back 4-4 and start it over and over and over again. So it's got uses, but out of like 3 or 4 different moves, you get a world of possibilities that your opponent has to be keen to, or else they're going to just start getting irritated by lows or getting messed up by mid launchers. So the third stance she has is the twist. That is this little b-boy 2-step she does where she crosses over and back. This is twist left. There is a twist right that you can do by maintaining the rhythm, but it's complicated and weird. I mean, I'll explain it at the end of this. The only way to get into this stance is this down back 3, the simplest way. 2-3, which delivers the hit, and up forward 3+4, 3. That spin over kick, and then the low. So once she's active, see, that's what happens when I mash the 3. 3 ways to get into this stance, and then about 5 or 6 options out of it. So you can see that's just 3. When you're in twist and you press 3, she gets that mid launcher right there. Looks very slow, and it is. She has to complete the dance. She crosses over her right foot, pivots, and then kicks with the left when it comes back around. So that is not fast, but it's all part of the game of her rhythm. Outside of twist, she has other things like the punch strings. She can just do 1-2 right there. She can't do it right away. She has to complete the rhythm. She has to get her right foot crossed over before she can act again, no matter what it is. So once she has done that, 1-2 can come out right away. And the same 3 options are there. 1-2-1 for the mid, the homing move, etc. She can also do the forward 2 versions where it goes right into that mid punch, and then it's 3 extensions, but she doesn't press forward here. She just does 2, and it does that 2 with the follow-ups. And you'll notice that takes a little bit of a backstep when she does it, because she has to get the right foot correct. When she crosses over her right foot and she's able to jab, if you do the other jab, she'll bring her right foot all the way back and then do the jab. So that creates a nice little option for them to get, you know, backswing blowed. They'll try to run in with a jab and she'll avoid it and hit them with the forward 2 strings. But keep in mind, you just press 2 here. You don't have to press forward 2. It's just 2. She'll do that and whatever option you want out of it. 3 is that overhead launcher. And then 4 is the mid kick scoot. You can't just mash it. There's kind of a rhythm to that. Like once she's in the step and you press 4, that's when you get scoot. If you press 4 right away, you get that. You get a second kick. And you'll notice when she delivers that kick, she crosses her left foot over. That's called twist right. There's actually 2 different twist dances. Take a good look at it. When you kick with the left, she crosses over the left foot. Right there. And then when she kicks with the right, she crosses over the right foot. They're technically 2 different stances, but twist right, I don't think has any of the good options. Like I'll show you, you don't want to do this. I don't get the scoot kick, for example. You can keep going back and forth, but it's a rhythm thing. I forget exactly how to do it, and I don't think it's worth your time to learn. But she can just go back and forth. Hear how she does the 1-2 counting. There's a rhythm where you can just keep repeating this over and over again. Go to twist left and twist right, but I don't think it's all that practical. You can mess with it if you want to, but it's there. In order to do that second kick, you had to do it right away. Down back 3-4 to deliver the second kick. Otherwise, if you wait for a second for her to go into the stance, she'll go into scoot. She'll do the scoot kick instead. So even right here, once she's already kicked you low, when she's in that little stance, she has the option to do another layered mix-up. If you just do 4 by itself, she does scoot. If you do down back 4-4, she does coffee grinder to scoot. See, that's 4, and then down back 4-4 does the low into the mid, and then the same mix-up results from scoot. You can do the backflip combo, you can do another coffee grinder, etc. So that's a pretty dangerous tool right there. Because the low and the coffee grinder is also really evasive. She's going to go under things. If they're getting tired of getting kicked by this and they're going to rush you down, you can try to go for the coffee grinder and avoid jabs. Get the same mix up. So right away, that unseeable low is going to present them with the situation. Do I want to go after her? Do I want to duck? Do I want to do it, etc.? And as soon as you decide to do either coffee grinder or scoot, you've already put them in another layer of your mix up where they have to make another decision again. And that's what Chloe excels at, is constantly moving between stances and situations to where her rhythm throws you off of yours. That's the only way she excels, is by maximizing all of those. I think that's it. That's all she can do out of twist left, other than transition to twist right. But twist right sucks. I don't know. It's just, it doesn't have every option the twist left does. You're pretty much not going to get away with doing that 3 or 4 times. They're going to do something out of it, you know? So kind of just get used to catching that low hit for free and then move on from there. I think they're going to rush me down. Let me do the back step and then the 2 jab. Or I think they're going to just try to jab me. Let me do coffee grinder, whatever it might be. Or I think they're going to try to do something long and slow. I can just go right into scoot, backflip combo, and get 60 damage or whatever it is from that. Because again, if that gets counter hit, if the scoot kick counter hits, that whole follow-up is guaranteed for 60 damage. So that's the bulk of Chloe's game, is using those stances and their transitions between them, keeping your opponent guessing, not necessarily mid versus low, but just in general, what is she going to do, and maintaining that flow. That's really what you want to do. And as I mentioned, her overall best move by a wide margin is the California roll combo, like that. And that, if they don't get up, it's a silly amount of damage. So that's what she wants more than anything. And she's got plenty of other combo starters along the way. Things like that, or the second hit out of scoot, etc. So I want to go over her basic combo structure and then the variations and counter hit combos and different things you have to look for. Lucky Chloe's launchers are pretty varied in that her conventional launchers are kind of weak, her counter hit launchers are pretty solid, and her weird ass backflip tumble kick launchers are all really good. So there's a lot of things to experiment with and learn in that regard. Basic launchers at 15 frames in the punishment, I went over, she had a down forward 2, an up forward 4 hop kick, and an up forward 3 hop kick. All caused pretty much the same juggle state. You can see with this one versus that one, her recovery's a little bit different, so not everything the same works, but there's pretty much one juggle she's going to want to use on everything, and it'll work on all of these. Yeah, those are a conventional juggle state, nothing fancy about it. They're in the air. You can do whatever you want. Down forward 2, and the while standing 2, which is the same move, just 1 frame slower. 2 hop kicks, up forward 3, and up forward 4. Down back 1 plus 2. Looks like that. I don't know what it's good for. I really don't. It doesn't take a far enough step back that she's going to avoid everything. It's minus 16 on block, so she's going to get launched for it. I really don't know what the point of that one is either. Unless it does happen to, evade a jab better than I think it does. I don't want to find out the hard way, though. So that is there. It does cause a slightly higher launcher state, but I don't think that gets you anything better anyway. It exists. Keep in mind that it exists. Use it at your risk, but I would recommend it. You're way better off just doing something like that. Down forward 2 is much more practical. The while standing 1-4 is a conventional juggle state. Her recovery's a little bit weaker there. You might not be able to get everything when she stands up, but it's not a completely different combo from that. Those are pretty much it for typical launcher states. This that I mentioned in the beginning, forward 4-4, when that second hit connects, there's a pretty specific combo you're going to want to do, which is that. I forget how you want to end it, 2-2 maybe. But once that connects, you can go into your back turn state and get the California roll there, which is generally what you want to do. I don't think you have to. Yeah, you can just do a normal combo like that if you wanted to. So either way works. So yeah, the second hit leaves you a conventional juggle state, or if you back turned, you can do the California roll combo either way. For counter hit launchers, most of them tend to work the same way. You get a pretty typical juggle. Among those is her back 1, which is a pretty good move in general. It hits opponents on the ground if they don't get up correctly from certain knockdowns. Like that. That'll hit them. Gives you a nice chunk of damage. Hits grounded opponents. Pretty evasive. She goes down pretty deep before she stands up with that attack. Its range is okay. Nothing to write home about. Minus 13 isn't the best. You don't want to just throw this out and hope you catch people. But it's there when you know you've got them baited into something. You're harassing them with your normal poke stuff, and you're turning around and you're jabbing, and then you know they're going to come after you. You can catch them with that. So that's a pretty decent counter hit launcher. You get the same juggle state off of it as you would anything else. I mentioned back 4 earlier as well. That causes them to crumple over, but you can still do pretty much the same juggle state you were going to anyway. You don't have to do anything fancy to pick them up from that state. But I mentioned that here as opposed to a poke, because as I said, it's not a great range. It is safe, but it's really when you're fishing for a counter hit. So if you know you've got them baited into something, I think that's a much better option. You don't really take any risk there, and you'll get your combo. That is just a little more evasive. So back 4 is your best, I think, counter hit fisher. If you want to just throw something out there and hope they run into it, that's probably it. Her sidestep 4, that we also covered, with the low like that, will combo. That's not as easy to do. I think you can do the California roll there too as well. Oh wow, did you see that? It didn't juggle them when I hit him slightly from the side. Huh. Yes, you can. So you can do the California roll combo from there too, and I'll go over that more in the actual combo filler section, how to do the California roll and the spear kick, blah blah blah. So you could do anything that you get a back turned launcher situation from, you could do that. But that would include your forward 4-4 stuff and your sidestep 4 on counter hit. Both of those give you the back turn. 1+2, the homing move, tailspin. Because it's a tailspin, most of the ones in this game, when you hit them on counter hit, will cause the tailspin right away, and you get a combo that way. So her 1+2 does that, as well as it being the 3rd hit of the other strings. Like that. I missed. Forward 2. She gets the combo that way. What else is there? 3-4. This also will hit them on counter hit. This is great if you're just going to harass them with these pokes and these kicks. Like, that really looks the same. This is neutral 3. She kind of kicks them about face high right there. This is down forward 3. That's pretty much the same kick. It's just like a slightly lower target. So as I went over in the poking section, down forward 3 has these extensions, keep them guessing. If one of those extensions is going to start to bait them into poking you, you have 3-4, because that looks exactly the same. They're going to think, okay, let me just jab her out of what she does next. You try to jab her out, you're going to get launched by that second hit. The second hit by itself is the launcher, but on a counter hit, you'll get the whole thing. This is -14 on block, so you don't want to just use it as a bait. That's really for when you have them set up by harassing with this. Here they come. Boom. A little riskier. Not as risky as that, to be honest. It's meant for evading attacks. But the fact that you have 2 of those things that are the same level of risk and reward, and that the fact that this one looks so much like everything else, kick-wise, it's worth it to be able to just throw them out there. They won't be mentally prepared to punish you on everything you do, I promise. So you can get away with murder sometimes when they're just not ready, or they thought you were going to do something completely different. The other good counter hit launchers she has are the full crouch down forward 1 that we went over in low pokes. Just like the one that June and Asuka have, where they grab the ankle, except this is a conventional combo state. Well, I guess it's really not, huh? You can't do down forward 1 there. Okay, this combo would just be forward 3. You could do that, pick them up that way. So you get more of a mini combo, let's call that. But that's a low, a counter hit low from a full crouch state. That's a nice tool to have. So you can also get a combo from that. It's just not a great combo. That's one of those specific situational combos. We'll just go over that now then, I guess. Because that's pretty much, you just saw it right there. You want to do a forward 3, and then... Actually, let me try. Forward 3. Yeah, down forward 2 is not going to work. Unless you want to sit there and practice the perfect timing, you might... You're better off to just forward 3, down forward 3-3, and get them that way. Simple enough, that works. That way you can do the fancy ender that we'll get to later on. So you get the mini combo off of that. Oh wait, let's do 3+4 back turned does the same thing. You get a bounce off of that. The basic, remember, forward 3+4 is the California roll. Down 3+4 is the low sweep that launches on counter hit. And neutral 3+4 also launches on counter hit. So also great deadly weapon to have. As soon as you go back turn, say this, you go back turn to avoid the follow-up or whatever. You think they're going to go low, you can do this to counter hit them. You think they're going to go high, you can do this to counter hit them, and they're both going to launch. So that's a big part of her game, is never let them keep you down mentally. Don't be scared of what might happen. You got to do what you think is appropriate to beat them and to keep them from getting in your head. So both of her 3+4 options out of back turn launch on counter hit, the mid and the low. The other major counter hit thing to look at, as I mentioned, is the scoot. The scoot and the backflip combo is all guaranteed on counter hit. Not a full combo necessarily, but you get 60 damage for the counter hit. That's close enough, you know. It's another one of those mini combo situations. As far as unique combos, I guess the low, as I mentioned, is the other one. This low is a weird pickup, but you can do the same forward 3, down forward 3-3 as you did off of that. So this counter hit, full crouch down forward 1, and the counter hit off back turn down 3+4. They have a weird little state, and I think the easiest way to pick them up is just do forward 3, and then down forward 3-3 for the screw attack. There's definitely other options, but they're harder. They're going to, especially if you're off axis, they're going to be a lot less consistent. I'm willing to just go for that easier first half of the juggle and get a bigger second half of the juggle. Like that. 57, that's fine. That's a perfectly normal combo. So not doing too much in the beginning, doing a nice easy first half of the combo lets you get the bigger second half. That's fine with me. I have no problems doing that. But, so the full crouch off of this low and the back turn low are little different combos. Pretty much everything else you can get the basic juggle from, except for the real deal, the California roll combo. This is the best thing she has. And really, you can. The juggle works here too. It's just a little bit harder. The combo that you want to do, since you have to do all 3 hits of this to get the whole thing, from back turned, it's forward, 3+4, 3+4, 3+4. At that point, they're still in the air, and you can do your screw attack. The down forward 3-3 that we just looked at, that'll work, and it's easier. Or you can do the whole thing, the best combo you can, and finish that way. It looks like this. Damn it, it doesn't look like that. It's actually kind of hard. I'm doing this on pad, and I'm not super comfortable on it either. Like that. The running 3 would have made that 91 damage. So you can do the basic juggle there. At that, from the California roll, you can just do that. Damn it. Down forward 3-3 and combo like that. Easier, much easier. But once you get used to the timing of the other one, it's worth learning how to do it. So that combo is a little bit unique. And if you do that out of another one, as I mentioned, back turned launchers, you can do that in the middle of the combo. That still works too. Forward 3-3. So since I started with this and I did the California roll in the middle of the combo, this is out of the question. I think down forward 3-3 is the only one that you can do. Since you did that, you used up one of your hits and the real combo is going to miss. So if you do that combo, down forward 3-3, I think is your only option there. And that'll be the same with the sidestep 4. Down forward 3-3. Because you used up one airborne hit, you have to go with the simpler screw attack. But other than that, pretty much all of these launchers, whether they're a crumple stone on the ground or airborne, you can generally do the same combo out of. The combo you're going to see average people doing online just looks like this. 1, 2, 3, screw attack. They're going to do down forward 1 3 times, and then forward 2, 1+2. It's easy, sure. It's a pretty good chunk of damage for a basic combo, but you could do a lot better. It's not that hard. When I first started figuring out what you could do, that's what I was seeing people doing, and I hate that. I hate when you see the same string several times in a combo. When I'm playing as Kazuya, I hate the fact that his best combo has down forward 1-4 3 times. Yeah, it's 105 damage or whatever, but I hate having to do that string. I just think it's dumb. So I wanted to look for something else instead of just doing this 3 times. You can swap one of them out for this back 4 and kind of break it up a little bit. Down forward 1, back 4, down forward 1, and then your screw attack. That's fine. But really the combo you want to do is this. A single down forward 1, which will correct the axis for all these other things. Like you'll notice your 2 hop kicks do have a slightly different recovery. You can just do a down forward 1 from both of them. It'll correct the juggle state and the axis and everything, and you'll be good to go. But the screw attack here is down forward 2, 4, 3, 1. It is her typical launcher, down forward 2. You can see by itself it causes a juggle state, but it's also a complete string that leads automatically into the screw attack. So even if you launch them with this, you don't necessarily have to do that right away. You can still, you know, buy yourself some time and do the conventional combo like that. No problem there. So this is down forward 2, 4, 3, 1. If you look at it in the move list, it says during hit. See Crump special. During hit, during hit, during hit. You can't just like mash it out, go boom, 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 and it'll come out. But it's not just frame timing either. You basically have to just do the next one while each move is in order. It's kind of a rhythm thing, but it's actually pretty forgiving. You can see the timing of the hits goes a certain way. Which it goes 1, 2, 3, 4 in the rhythm. You don't have to really hit that rhythm. What I do is this. Down forward 2, 4. You can just go boom, boom, and that comes out. Just tap, tap. No problems there. So from that point, what I just do is double tap the other ones. I do down forward 2, 4, 3, 3, 1, 1. And that kind of works like Street Fighter plinking. You know, you input it twice, and therefore you have a better chance of hitting it during the correct window. I don't know if you can pick it up from the microphone, but it sounds like this. You should be able to hear the double tap. Double tap 3, double tap 1. Because that way I don't have to worry about actually timing it. Whenever one of my 2 button presses will have hit it in the correct window. Down forward 2, 4, 3, 3, 1, 1. Essentially how I do that. But that's the combo you're going to want to do off of everything. A down forward 1 and then that string. Down forward 2, 4, 3, 1. It's pretty good damage. It's the screw attack in 6 hits, which isn't exactly ideal for some things. But it's decent enough damage that her enders can get a pretty good distance. Like, that's a good knockback. If you need to get the rest of the wall, you can do it that way. If you need to floor break, you can do it that way. So if you want to get better damage out of a combo, you need the wall or the break anyway. So it looks like this. Oh, 2, 2. Yeah, too many hits for that. Right away. It's already too many hits to do whatever I wanted. 56 is fine. That's a decent enough combo. So you can choose your extension, the wall break or the wall distance, the floor break, whatever it might be. But that's pretty much what you want to do for all of these basic juggles is that screw attack. And like I said, you can do it out of the California roll as well. I missed that again. Again, it's the D-pad. I'm not super comfortable. I just didn't want to have to clickety-clack stick buttons through this whole thing. But yeah, you can do it off the California roll. It's just a little bit tougher, but it's absolutely worth learning how to do. You're going to use that for pretty much any juggle you get, counter hit or whatever. So, ending the combo, because you've used 6 hits or 7, if you do one of the other ones or whatever, your choices are limited. You can run up and do your forward 2 and pick your extension. Like I said, 2, 1 will get you that extra little bit of distance to the wall or break it. Forward 2, 2 will break the floor. Forward 2, 1 plus 2, if you're close enough to get it to connect, will get you more damage, but that's about it. If you've used up all your hits, your other best option to end a combo is her running 3. You notice her running 3 smacks him into the ground, and you get that favorable face down heads toward state. If they don't roll they don't back roll right away out of that, you can dash up and back 4 or back 1, and that'll be guaranteed. So the California roll combo that ends with that does 91 damage. If they don't roll right away, they're going to eat another 15 just from that by itself. So running 3 is actually a pretty good way to end a combo with her because of the knockdown state it provides. It's a slow running 3, so you kind of have to, you know, instant running right out of your screw attack in order to land it, but you'll figure that out. That's a pretty solid way to end it in general. Most of the time they're going to realize they can just back roll it, but if they don't, you can harass them with that. Get a ton of damage that way. So that's if you're down to your final hit. The only thing you can do is a running 3. You do that. If you've got a little bit of room left, you do a forward 2 and then pick your extension for whatever it might be. Or if you did a smaller combo like the counter hit low launchers where you're pretty much just getting this and a 3-hit screw attack, you could end a combo with the scoot. The whole scoot to backflip combo. Let's see, that'll look like this. $57, the normal amount of damage. Forward, forward, 4, 3 plus 4, 4. Scoot, and the backflip combo. You can end the combo that way, but you got to get your screw attack in the first, like, 3, maybe 4 hits, or the last hit will whiff. If the wall is getting close, if you know the wall is coming, you can go for it with more hits and get your final hit that way. But it's just going to be kind of hit or miss. You got to get used to the size of the stages in general. That's the other thing, is you don't really mix up your ender to get the wall. Like I mentioned with Kazuya, when I know the wall is close, when I do the screw attack, I can dash up and do another down forward 1-4 to get the wall, as opposed to doing, say, Hell Sweep. Chloe's not as versatile in that way. You're pretty much going to do, you know, the damage version or this version. So she's not adept at getting the screw attack in the field and then getting the wall off another hit. You kind of have to predict earlier whether or not you're going to reach the wall. If you have enough room for all of that to connect, go for it. If not, see if that'll cover the distance, and if you're nowhere near it, just do that or something, whatever. So scoot backflip combo is pretty good damage if you did a basic combo to get to that point. So when you get to the wall, I don't even want to change stages and show you. It's not that big a deal. There's pretty much one thing and one thing you're going to do every time. When they wall splat, you do 1, down forward 1, back 1. All that'll work. 1, down forward 1, back 1. By the time they crumple towards the ground, they're not fully recovered yet, and that back 1, which hit grounded opponents, will hit them. I think it might reset damage scaling a little bit, because the combo is technically over, they just can't avoid it. That'd be the same thing as this running 3. If they don't get up right away, that back 1 hits them. It's technically not a combo because they could have gotten up, you know what I mean? But at the wall, there's nothing they could have done about that, even though they technically got grounded. You know, they hit a grounded state, the combo is over, but there's still no way for them to avoid that damage. It's like getting stomped, you know? Kazuya hits you with a forward 4, and it causes that hard knockdown, and he stomps you. You got grounded. I mean, it's not like you got juggled or anything. You're on the ground, and you can roll, but he's able to hit you before you do that. So, whatever. That's a long explanation for the fact that when you get the wall, you do 1, down forward 1, back 1. Don't even think twice about it. You can do other stuff, like if you end up back turn, say, you do this. You're back 3, since it causes that weird spin, that'll wall splat. So if you hit him and go back turn, you can do the first 2 hits of the California roll. Or the first hit or whatever. That. You could do something like that, or the backflip combo. Whatever. There's a couple options back turned if you wanted to do it that way. That. Yeah, 3 plus 4, 4. Let's do that. So use that, the homing move to wall splat, and then 3 plus 4, 4. You could do something like that. The other option that I don't know really how to do is to resplat. Like I've seen them do, like a cancel into back turn, and then like backdash real quick, and do that to resplat them. So you can see how high that hits them in the air. And if you ever notice during the combo, like look how far off the ground they are when you hit them with the screw attack. That move's got a lot of airborne to it. So there is a way to hit them with something, backdash it just right, and then do that to resplat them, but I don't know how to do it. It's something you'd have to mess with to feel the timing anyway. So if you figure out how to do that, you could do this to resplat them, and then do 1, down forward 1, back 1. I mean, you can do other stuff like a jab and then a 3-4, whatever, but really, that's the top banana right there. The only exception might be characters that are little, like Chloe herself or Ling or something. You might get mixed results there. But otherwise, do the basic combo on everybody. Go mess around with the resplat if you want to. It's up to you. That's pretty much it for her combo system. The basic launcher works on most things. You're going to want to learn that timing off of that. Learn the double tap to get this. Learn how to do the California roll and which ender you feel comfortable doing that from. The only exceptions are the weird, like, low hits. Learn how to do that mini combo, and that's it. None of them are hard. They're really not all that hard. You either get the wall or you don't. You either get, the floor break, or you have to, do the basic combo and end it. It's nothing wrong with getting 60. I know you want to get the California roll all the time, but if your mix-up game lends you to get that, you want to know how to do the basics, get your 60 damage, get your reset situation or whatever, and keep on them. So that is kind of nice that anytime you get one of those, you've got the same basic combo in mind. You don't have to learn 30 different situational combos. I'm a big fan of that. I really like being able to just kind of let that part of it go. Let the muscle memory take over and not have to calculate too much when I'm going to get there. That is kind of nice about her. You save your mental calculations for what am I going to do next and how am I going to keep them on their heels and out of my face. And finally, let's talk about Chloe's rage system. It's kind of the culmination of the whole rhythm-based character thing in that her rage art has a rhythm input to it. She kicks you 6 times, and you have inputs that you have to time along with that to get extra damage. Let me turn rage on. Just by itself, it looks like this.
Here we go.
It does 50 damage on its own. So what you do is you press 3 the instant she kicks you each revolution. She spins around and kicks you 6 times, and you press 3 in time with each one of those kicks, and you get bonus damage out of it. It's not all that hard, really, once you get used to it. I learned by listening to the impact and then timing that, rather than trying to look for a cue or anything else. You just sort of kind of feel the rhythm to it, and it works. It counts the first impact as well. As soon as she hits with the opening move, that's your first button press, and then 5 more.
Here we go.
See, I missed 2. But you see, that one was 60 damage. The way that it works, as near as I can tell, is if you get, I think, 2 of the inputs right, it's 5 bonus damage. 3, 4, or 5 of the inputs right, and you get 10 bonus damage. And if you get all 6 of them right, you get a little different animation, and it's 15 points extra damage. Let me try it again.
Here we go. Oh, yeah.
Just like that. Changes the animation, she delivers 1 more hit at the end, and you get 15 extra damage. That damage will still scale if you use it in a combo, but regardless, it's not that hard to do. Learn how to do it and get that extra damage. So that really does kind of come in handy. And that really ties the whole piece together in terms of her being like a rhythm character. That's almost like, a segment of a DDR type of game. You press the button inputs with the things on the screen. So I thought that was kind of a cool touch to give her that extra little bit. And if you don't get it, it's not the end of the world. It's just a couple of points of free damage. Her rage drive has a similar aspect to it. She goes into a stance and she counts out that 1, 2 rhythm, and that's when you do the last input. It looks like this. Down forward, 3 plus 4 activates it. She does the kicks, and then she rears back into a stance, and during that stance, when she's counting out, is when you do the 1 plus 2 part of it. And it looks like this.
1, 2,
When she goes 1, 2 and salutes like that, that's when you press your 1 plus 2. That did, what, 72 damage? That was a lot.
1, 2.
72 by itself. That'll wall splat. You'll get the extra combo from there. But that ain't half bad, to be honest. The problem is, I think most rage drives are best served by being used in combo to either get another resplat or an extra juggle state or whatever it is. Hers isn't all that practical in that regard, because 5, 6 hits into a combo, that hit right there is going to miss. When she flips back towards them, they're going to be out of range. So it's not great for getting the extra state or at the wall. If you're going to get real close to the wall, maybe it's really picky though. But the fact that it's 72 by itself isn't all that bad. If that last hit will get you a wall splat, you got a 90 damage combo anyway, which is what you wanted in the first place. The other difference is she can cancel that stance and go back to normal and do a basic combo off of it. I think you just hold back instead of doing the final input, and she'll remain back turned, where you can do the good old California roll combo. Oop, went right under him. Might be too many hits to do the down forward 2-part. Let me try it again the easy way. I messed it up. Hold back. Well, that didn't even work well either. Doing down forward 3-3. But you get the idea, is it will connect into a combo. I think you'd be better off to just do it by itself. Unless you know you can get the wall with like a couple extra hits in your combo and do it that way. Otherwise, I feel like its raw damage is pretty good.
1, 2,
Boom. That's 72 plus the possibility of a wall spot at the end. Not bad. Can I do back turn kick maybe? I never really messed around with this all that much. Hey, you can do that. That'll work. But anyway, anything you want to do out of a back turn situation should work there. You could do the California roll, etc. To start a combo with your rage drive. So that's like most of them work that way. They're a launcher when they hit in the open. They extend the combos in the middle. Hers is just a little bit picky. But I think the rage art really sets it apart, being able to have that extra rhythm input to get you a little bit bonus damage, change the animation, just, it's a little bit cooler. I think that was a very nice touch. But I think that basically covers everything about Chloe. Like I said in the beginning, she is a character based on rhythm, both in her appearance and her execution and her gameplay style. It requires you to be on rhythm and keep the opponent off of theirs. That's really all that it is if they're comfortable and they're able to predict what you're going to do and counter it, you're done. You need to stay unique and keep your momentum in order to be successful with this character. I mean, I wish I could tell you more than that, but I don't completely, understand the ins and outs of her either. Just how things work and what you're supposed to do. But doing those things in an actual match is a whole different story. That's going to take a while. Maybe that'll be in the advanced tutorial video series someday. But as for a basic tutorial, I think that's it. So thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it. You can watch me play this game or anything else live on Twitch at twitch.tv/mastermind6000. My Twitter is the same thing. The YouTube channel is the same thing. So check out everything there. Thanks again for watching. Have a nice day.